Are we in a housing bubble? The warning signs look all too familiar, and escalating home prices have both buyers and sellers worried that the market is just too good to be true. Let's take a look at 3 key factors that show we're not in a housing bubble so you can feel calm and educated going into today's real estate market. Part 1. Housing supply. Last year, home values appreciated a whopping 10% on average across the country. And while this year's growth isn't expected to match it, experts are predicting around closer to 5%, buyers and sellers are still worried that home prices are too high and that depreciation is likely to follow. However, unlike the housing bubble years of the mid-2000s, the major factor driving up home values is that we are also in a dire inventory shortage. A balanced real estate market's inventory sits around 6 months. Today's current market is at 1.9 months, a historically low amount of homes for sale. On top of that, inventory has slowly been declining for years now. We've been under 5 months of inventory for the last 3 years. In comparison, inventory levels from 2005 and 2007 increased from 5 months to 11 months, a vast oversupply of homes that did not warrant the price appreciation that went along with it. So throwing it back to your high school economics class, the biggest driver of price appreciation is a simple case of supply and demand, hence what we're seeing in the market today. Part 2, housing demand. If you remember the housing boom of the mid-2000s, you know how crazy that time was in real estate. But if Robert Shiller, a fellow at the Yale School of Management's International Center of Finance, could sum it up in one phrase, it's this: irrational exuberance. In other words, the buying and selling frenzy that in part caused the market to collapse was fueled by not tactful financial decisions, but by a countrywide case of FOMO, fear of missing out. The mortgage industry fed into this frenzy, making it easy for people to obtain home loans much higher than they could afford. Today's real estate demand, however, is a very real thing. Millennials, currently the largest generation in the US, are finally ready for homeownership and hitting the market in mass. The health crisis is also challenging homeowners to reevaluate whether their current home meets their needs, driving more eager buyers into the market. These 2 big factors, coupled with historically low mortgage rates, make purchasing a home today a good financial decision. So not only is the demand very real, it's also very smart. Part 3. Following the housing and economic crash of 2008, economists, financiers, and real estate industry experts have combed through the data to find out why the entire system crumbled the way it did. Most will agree that one of the biggest pieces of that catastrophic equation came down to this: equity, or in reality, a lack of it. The mid-2000s saw a massive wave of homeowners cashing out the equity in their homes. In short, they were using their homes like ATMs to afford some of the finer things in life. This led to a lot of negative equity situations, where the amount someone owed on their home was far more than what their house was worth. Many foreclosures and short sales followed, depreciating home values nationwide. Today is a much different equity picture. Cash-out refinance volume over the last 3 years is less than a third of what it was compared to the 3 years before the crash. More than 38% of homeowners have paid off their mortgage, free and clear, and another 18.7% have paid off over 50% of their mortgage. This positive equity perspective puts the current housing market in a much stronger place, minimizing the risk of foreclosure and stabilizing home values across the US. The bottom line is this: today's home value appreciation is largely justifiable, and homeowners are more secure. Today's market is healthy, but we need more supply to meet buyer demand. If you've had thoughts of selling, give us a call at 305-882-9931. Again, 305-882-9931. And remember, our job is helping you find home.